All right, and we are recording. Welcome back to the Film Field NFL, everybody. I'm Jack. This is Shane. Shane, how are you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. What a day. Golly, this is the best June 1st we've had in the NFL in years.
Oh my
One of the
God, yeah.
biggest blockbusters, I think, ever.
Maybe honestly. Well, so if you guys don't know, I work night shift for security, so I sleep from like 8 a.m. to 3 or 4 o'clock, and so I woke up to like 70 notifications from like Jordan Schultz, like Ian Rappaport, and I'm like, oh, what? And like I had to tread through all this stuff. So I saw the Beckham stuff, which I'm a Giants fan, ecstatic. Like I was so happy. I'm like, let's go. Knew it was gonna happen. But then, like you texted me like, I know what we're gonna talk about on the pod, and I was like, oh, like the Beckham stuff, like yeah, for sure. I didn't see the I didn't see the Garrett stuff. I did not see, and
Just
the
a
Garrett
little
stuff is
bit of
so
Myles Garrett stuff. Just a
yeah,
little bit of Myles Garrett
and the
stuff.
Garrett stuff's so different from the Beckham and like AJ Brown stuff we're going to talk about today because those were kind of expected as time went on. Like AJ Brown has spiritually been a Patriot for like months now. Like we've all
Yeah.
known this; it's been obvious. OBJ, it started to really heat up the past week or so. So it was like, oh, is it going to happen? You know, the Garrett thing was like getting hit with like a pipe wrench from the back of the head. Like, where did that come from? Like that was crazy. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. That's for sure. So I guess we'll start off with OBJ. Um, I,
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I'll start off with this one because I have a lot to say because I do. I think this is awesome, right? Like I grew up a Giants fan. OBJ is one of my favorite players of all time. Like hands down. When I was little, I got blonde tips because of him. I was hardcore OBJ. I was just unbelievably angry. Almost stopped being a Giants fan when they traded him. I was so frustrated. Um, but for so long, I wanted him to come back. Ever since when he went to the Rams and then he went to the Ravens, I wanted him to come back. And I think people need to understand like where everyone comes from with this conversation. For example, I don't think any Giant fan thinks he's going to be some like superstar wide receiver too. That's not the case. But what he can be is a good role player three, like a nice solid three for you, a guy that can stretch the field vertically. And I'm gonna pass this to you because I think you have more negative things to say about Beckham.
You light my fire. Yeah, it's an unction over there in the New York Giants wide receiver room at the moment. I'm not sure it stays that way come week one of the season, but I think that this is a feel good moment for Odell and Giants fans alike. It's a great ending to a pretty good career. I think it started fantastic, but injuries and everything else just kind of piled up. But hey, Super Bowl champion, ending where it started, nothing better than that. Definitely better than ending 9 catches, 55 yards in your last season. That's for sure.
Well, I think people are underrating like what Beckham has been. Like, I do think that like he is a guy that can just be a good three, like just a good three for you. Like the last that we had seen of him was with the Ravens and the Dolphins. Like when he was with the Rams, he was legit, like genuinely legit. Like he was a huge reason that they made it to the Super Bowl, right? Like him being able to play X receiver for them and dominate the way he did was a massive, massive reason that he was going to win Super Bowl MVP. He was going to win Super Bowl MVP. That was going to happen before he tore his ACL. He was going to win Super Bowl MVP. He was absolutely going to. Who
Because
else
we
was
can
going to
we
win?
can predict the games. You know.
He was going to break, dude. He was literally on a tear in the beginning of that game. He was ripping them, like he was absolutely ripping the Bengals. He objectively was, man. Like he was burning them all day, and then he tore his ACL, which was just awful. But he was going to win Super Bowl MVP. I mean, that was the
Yeah.
conversation. It was like, damn, that sucks. But he was so awesome for the Rams, and then for the Ravens, he was like just a great three for them, just a good number three option for them,
Mm-hmm.
stretching it vertically. And if you go back to that Ravens tape, he legitimately was good. Like, still very smooth. I think the things that you see obviously with age is that like he doesn't necessarily have like the same speed anymore, and I think he's not like the same contested catch guy. But like route running wise, like silk wise, like he is all there, which is awesome. Which is why I think he's a good veteran player. Like, I don't think this is like some like wide receiver seven, he's gonna get cut in at the end of the depth charts. But like this is like a guy that genuinely can bring something I think to the Giants that I don't think these other guys can. Like Darius Slayton is quite bad at this point. Like they are playing him for contract reasons. Like he's not very good. I mean, like that was a disaster season from him last year, like truly disaster. Um, and I think when it comes to like Malachi Fields, not really a separator like at all. Like actually doesn't separate at all. I get that he's an interesting rookie, but like Beckham is probably going to be already one of their better separators, like the just point blank. I think from a route running position, he's still really nice because I think as you age, the number one things that stay the same is your ability to run routes. Like you saw that with Hopkins last year with the Ravens. Like contested catchability was coming down, you know what I mean? But he's still a good route runner for them. Like he was still getting open, like still consistent on digs and slants and whatnot. Like he was still getting open. Right? If you can still have your savviness about you, that can allow you to just be a number three, number four option for teams and just be a veteran presence that stretches the field. And that's exactly what Beckham's going to be for them. And I think that's going to be really fun. Like, if he can be like what Deshaun Jackson was in 2021 with the Rams, where he just had like a few of those go balls, you know what I mean? A few of those little moments where he really stretched the field. That's exactly what you want out of Beckham for the year. And I think you're going to probably get that. I think that he absolutely can still do that. I think Miami was a weird trip where I went through and I watched that. And I'm like, first of all, do not watch the 2024 Miami Dolphins. I want to throw up. That was like a moment I think you could tell that like Tua was no longer in anyone's good graces anymore. I watched some of those reps with Beckham. Literally, pass breakup like 2 yards behind Beckham, another PBU, an interception, and then like a ball over his head. Like that was like at that point, I'm like, I don't need to watch more. This is ridiculous. Like I was like, are they just not getting him involved in like the slot? Like what's happening, dude? I have never seen such bad quarterback play than watching Tua with Beckham. Like that was bad. Like that was I don't know what was going through Tua's head. So I do think there's a lot still there for Beckham. Like again, he's not some superstar too, nothing like that. But this is a guy that definitely is going to stretch the field for them. I think he gives them man coverage beating ability that they just don't really have from all these other guys outside of Neighbors, right? Like I do think that that's there. I think as long as you can be a consistent route runner, you can still be that downfield threat that just gives them some options, right? And that's all you're really asking for.
I don't see it the same way, and it's not in like a disrespectful I hate Odell Beckham, I hope he fails kind of a way. It's more just, dude, you're 35. Like it'd be unrealistic for me to think that you're going to go out there and give me 55 yards every week. Like I'd be
I don't
happy
think any
with a.
nope. I don't think anybody expects that though. I don't think anybody expects that.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
you're
think
talking wide receiver three. I think a wide receiver three is someone you get 30 to 50 yards from in a game.
I don't
I
think
think I
so.
think
I don't think
Odell
so at
ends up
all.
inactive for a couple weeks as well. I think this is more of a thank you for a great career kind of a signing than it is like a let's compete kind of a thing. Like I think that
I
that's a
don't
lot of
agree with that.
optimism,
I don't agree with that.
and
I
that's
think it's
fine
very
that you don't agree with that. That's why we
but
talk
but
on
but
here.
that's not even the way the Giants view it. Like again, there's a separation here from the way people are talking about it. Nobody thinks he's going to be like some insane superstar. But also people who think he's just going to be like some passive background character, like that's just not the case either.
Well,
Like
that's
he's
what I expect, and it's fine. Like I said, like I look at this from a like I'm indifferent. You know, like if he came back, if he didn't come back, like that's where I stand with Odell Beckham. I thought he had a great start to his career, and injuries kind of ruined the rest of it. And I think a lot of people look at him as more of a what if at the end of it, at the end of the career, rather, just because of how he started and how unreal of a start it was. And torn ACLs are how far they've come with that medicine because some guys come back.
I don't disagree with any of this, but like again, like I said, I don't think anybody thinks he's coming in here to be Rams OBJ. If he's just Ravens OBJ, or even
But I don't even think he's Ravens OBJ anymore, and that's the point I'm trying to make.
in
Like
what
by
way do
the
you feel like
time that he left the Ravens, the end of his career with the Ravens was him getting cut. It wasn't that he signed somewhere else. It was he got cut, then signed with the Dolphins, and the reason he got cut is because he wasn't living up to the contract he had signed for one, but for two, he just wasn't the same
he played
player.
well
He
for
was
them?
coming
He
off of a
played
pretty
well.
bad ankle injury. I think he'll probably end up, like I said, I think around 12 games this year. 12 games, we'll say 200 yards ish, maybe one or two touchdowns. And, all in all, I think that's a much better ending
But that's what
than with the
everyone's
Dolphins. And I
expecting.
think that's what he deserves.
I think the problem is no one's saying that like he's gonna come in and have like 600 yards and be like one of the big like like you can be a legitimate important option in your offense being a guy who gets 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. You can like if you're like I said, like being like Deshaun Jackson in 2021 is exactly what you're expecting out of him, and that's a good role. That's like not being passive and a background character. That's being somebody who's important, I think, for those little moments. Like I think he can absolutely. I see no reason why he can't be that. Like the tape with the Ravens and the Dolphins, he was good, man. Like he just was good. Like I don't see there's not any aspect of him there that makes me really worried. Like again, no one thinks he's gonna be some superstar, but like outside of like
There's
speed and
nothing there that makes you worried.
not
The
like
ankle surgery, the
who
getting caught with the
cares?
peds in the offseason, like it cost him a whole season. Actually, he hasn't played in over a year, and you're like,
So
there's nothing to be concerned about. You're telling me
I just don't know what I really care about to be concerned about. Like, yeah, he didn't play for a year, but that was like also his decision. Yeah, like that's
it
fine.
wasn't his decision. He literally went on to the pivot and rallied for himself to get signed for a playoff run. He begged the Steelers pretty much. He wanted to play for Mike Tomlin
When
desperately.
did he
This is
beg the
all on the record,
Steelers? When did he
huh?
beg when did he beg the
He was
Steelers?
on the Pivot podcast and he was talking about how bad he wanted to play for the Steelers and play for Mike Tomlin
Dude,
specifically.
he says that about like every team.
Okay,
He
so
was,
what I'm
he was
saying is
saying that
he
about like the
was
Cardinals at a
lobbying
point.
himself.
He was
That was the
he
whole
was
point
saying
of what
that
I'm
about
trying to make. He
dude,
absolutely was
he
lobbying
was saying that
himself.
about the Vikings at a point. Like I think he's just like being like, yeah, that'd be cool, you know?
Yeah, he
Like
wanted
I
to
don't
mentor Justin Jefferson, right? Like that's what you're saying he wants to do here, which is mentor Malik Neighbors. That's a best case scenario. And
which he
listen, that
will.
is that I think that's great. But I think that, there's a little bit more hopium with what you're saying versus
I
like
don't think so.
actual like
I don't think
looking
like
at
I
what
don't think
happened in
like
Miami, taking a year off.
I don't think so at all. I think 300 yards, like 3 touchdowns, not hopium. Like that's like a normal
Okay,
makes
cut
sense.
that in half, and that's about what I expect from him.
Like,
150 yards and a touchdown or
but
two.
even if that's the case, I don't think any of that's going to be because he's playing bad. Like I think that's just going to be like snaps and who you're getting out.
No,
Like
I don't think he'll play bad either. I just don't think he's going to have an impact. I don't think he'll play much at all. Like I don't think he'll have much
who
of
are
an
they
impact.
playing
If
over
anything, more
him
of a
that they're
decoy.
really wanting to get snaps? Like Slayton, like they're like the
Well, yeah,
Sl-
Slayton. Yes,
Slayton's going to be injured. Neighbors is going to be injured. Malachi
OBJ
Fields
will
can't.
be injured.
What?
OBJ will be
Well,
injured.
he's healthier right now than the two of these other guys are. Both Slayton and Neighbors are hurt right now. OBJ's
Yeah,
healthy right now. Like that's what we're talking about here. You know what I mean? Like the other two
yeah,
guys are hurt now. Like we're just
right,
projecting OBJ to get hurt.
right.
I do think people are downplaying again. Like not to say some superstar, but I do think people are downplaying what he can be in terms of effectiveness. I do think people don't realize that he does have more in the tank than they realize. Like he can just be a solid 3 or 4 option for you that helps out Neighbors and helps out Dart and helps out all these guys. Like he's got a great relationship with Dart and Neighbors. Like I think he's gonna be really helpful. He brings something to the team that I just don't think these other guys have, which is just man coverage beating. Like Slayton's not really a good man coverage beater. Like neither is Fields, neither is really Moon. Mooney's probably a better man coverage beater than him, but outside of that, like no, not anyone else really. He's probably like the third best man coverage beater. Like to be honest, like that's it's just right. He's still a really good route runner, and that's gonna be so helpful for those little moments for Dart for having a guy that can just stretch the field and be like a reliable option. Like none of these guys are very good deep threats last year outside of Neighbors. Like they really just weren't. And so having someone like that, it's just gonna be beneficial.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, this isn't like something I'm like pounding my chest about. I don't think that, I think this is the best ending for him, and I wish him the best after football as well. So
Yeah, I care more about this than I do Miles Garrett to the Rams. I do. Shit means something to me, man. Like he is one of the most
you
talented
couldn't tell by the
receivers.
way he was talking about it.
He is probably maybe the most talented receiver I've seen. I mean, like
He
maybe
played at the same time as Antonio Brown, but it's for a
dude.
different day.
He was more talented than AB. He was more talented. He was more talented than AB. And I view
Real,
AB really
unreal,
high. I view AB unbelievably high. Like
unreal.
I loved AB. I thought he was I thought he was unbelievable. Uh, I think Beckham had more. Again, the injuries, all that stuff, but like in terms of like talent, that I thought Beckham was. I mean, the juice that guy had for his frame to be that size and to be as dominant as like I mean, insane.
Yeah.
Like
Known 6'5" monster Antonio Brown. Yes.
No, not this. But I just think it's like he was just more impressive at the catch point to me. I think Beckham was. Again, this is like splitting hairs though. We're splitting hairs. They're both like elite at so many things that like we're splitting hairs. Again, I'm not saying like career wise, of course AB is better, but I'm just talking about like as like a talent. Like as a talent, I kind of think it's Beckham. I do. I don't think people realize just how undeniable he was in those first couple of seasons. Like undeniable.
Yeah.
Listen. You're never gonna agree with me on that, but
No, never.
it's not a slight to AB though. I like AB, but like
Yeah. It is a slight to AB, but yeah,
no, it's
you know,
not. I view AB so highly. Like I view AB so unbelievably highly. But like if we're talking pure talent, dude, I mean like Beckham was whew. I mean the like this dude was taking slants to the house. Like this dude was taking slants to the house every day, like like burning people, like the double moves. Like I mean like I've never seen someone move the way he does. Like I really haven't.
he also is the reason for the boat incident.
We don't care. we, we we don't care. I was about to say if we want to go into situations about receivers, if you want to go situation for situation with AB and Odell Beckham Jr., well, well, yeah. Also, that like that's always one of those things that's like fun to joke about, but like they lost because they just weren't ready. Like they weren't. But like whatever. But he's one of the greatest talents I have ever seen in my life, truly. So I mean, it's just so cool to have him back. Like I see some people being like, well, he's not that good anymore. No one cares. It's just cool, dude. Like no one cares. Like no, like it's just fun. It's just fun to think you have neighbors and OBJ on the same team. Like that's so sick. That's like his first touchdown is gonna be like insane. Like that's
If it
going.
happens.
I think it will. I mean, I think it will. He's going to be a good red zone target for them. Like he's going to be a good red zone target. Like he can get easy slant options. He's a good route runner still. He'll be a good red zone option. They'll probably have him as like a flanker sometimes. I can tell. So he's going to have his moments for sure. Like if he gets like a deep ball from Dart, it's going to be pretty cool.
Let's
So
just hope his dad doesn't go after Dart and post him
well,
up the film.
tell Dart to see the field correctly. Which
Right, yeah.
sometimes Dart doesn't. Sometimes Dart does not process the field correctly. So if that he
No,
was
known room reader Jackson Dart.
Sometimes I'm looking back at some of those plays by Dart and I'm like, what are you seeing, dude? Like what are you seeing? What are you seeing right now? So sometimes I get concerned with his processing. But overall, what you disagree?
No, I'm just listening to you. I'm
All right.
still in disbelief over here. That's all.
Well, about what?
Nothing.
Of what Beckham over AB?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean purely as talent. Career wise, obviously it's AB. But like I just mean purely as like a talent. Like I
You want
do
to go
think
band for
that's
band? We can. I mean,
what? In what way?
if we're just gonna go like piece by piece of what makes a good receiver, like we can. I'm just saying, like, it's gonna turn to a 4-hour episode, and it's gonna derail like the whole discussion. So
Yeah. I'll just say this. Beckham has better hands and possibly. I don't know if speed. They're both really fast. They're both really.
I'll let you have speed. I'll let Odell have
AB's
speed.
pretty fast though. AB's pretty
There's a
fast.
reason AB was a 6th round receiver. Like,
Sure, but he became faster as time went on. Like he had some really great burner moments.
he
So
just more quick, not fast.
I guess in terms of long speed, Beckham's better. Long speed, Beckham's better. Route running, that's a
AB's
weird.
the best route runner possibly ever. Every receiver will tell you that. His lab work is bar none. No one compares.
I think AB's an incredible route runner. I'm gonna.
Ask any professional athlete before you say that.
I get
Ask
you.
any professional athlete before you say what you're about to say, what they think, and they will all say Antonio Brown. This
I
isn't
get
just
you.
like some Pittsburgh bias thing.
Hey, I get you. We'll save this for maybe a time where we talk about who we think are some of the best receivers all the time. But like, I will just say I thought Beckham was an incredible route runner too. That's fine if you want to put AB over him. There's a guy I have over AB that I'm not gonna say just yet. It's a take that I know you'll hate. It's a take you'll hate because you're gonna be like, he hasn't been in the league long enough. Like if I tell you who I think is a better route runner than him. There's a certain player in the league I have a very high opinion on all
Quentin
time.
Johnston.
Who?
Quentin Johnston.
Quentin Johnston. I'll just say it, but we'll say it for another time. Justin Jefferson.
All right, let's roll into the next subject we're going to be discussing.
Just Justin Jefferson better route runner than AB. Anyways, let's go to Myles Garrett to the Rams. We'll save it for another discussion. Myles Garrett to the Rams. I don't know if you want to start off with this one.
I would absolutely love to start this. This is an absolute win for the Pittsburgh Steelers, for starters, and everyone else in the AFC North. You don't have to deal with Myles Garrett anymore. That, first of all, if you would have told them that heading into the season, they'd be like, yeah, sure. What, does he tear his ACL or something at OTAs? Like, that was the only way this was ever happening in anyone's brain, in any capacity, right? They were talking about, the Jim Schwartz thing, how that kind of rubbed him the wrong way, and how he was really lobbying to give him the head coaching opportunity. And then when Monken got it, that, he was going to be fine. Like, he'd figure it out, right? Like, that was what everyone was saying. Everyone with any sort of credibility, I mean to say. So this came out of left field, and there's no other way to put it other than no matter what the return would have been, like, they're a worse team today than they were with Myles Garrett. And they're also, strangely enough, the worst team long-term than the Rams. Like, I don't think that they won this trade in any capacity. I don't think that they got the best trade value they could have gotten. If you recall, Jack, they tried to lobby for a rule this offseason where teams could now trade, instead of 3 first-round picks, 5 first-round picks. So I feel like they've been laying the groundwork for this as like a what-if scenario, but they didn't even get the 3 first-round picks I thought they'd get out of this. They got 1 first-rounder, a second-rounder, a third-rounder, and Jared Verse, who's a fantastic player, but he's also still on his rookie deal, and there's no guarantee that he's there through 2028, right? And it's like, okay, and if the guy ends up leaving, well, now we're really back to square one in a lot of ways in Cleveland. So I think this A tells you what they think of the team currently. But B, I'm not sure what the outlook is for them. The Browns are going to brown. That's what we learned today.
I feel more optimistic about them than you do.
Shocker, everybody. Jack disagrees with me.
You're wrong about this one. No, well, for the Rams, I mean, obviously, you don't really have to analyze this in any kind of way other than like
holy win.
The Avengers get Hulk. Like what? Like is that yeah, what we're just saying? Yeah. Like that's just what it like.
Water gets more wet.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's not really much to say other than like that's insane. They've got the Monstars over there, right? But in terms of the trade itself, right? I do agree they should have gotten more, right? Like they should have traded Garrett beforehand. That should have happened.
If this was always gonna be, just do it earlier.
Of course. But ultimately, for where their situation is now, right, to make the choice now, I thought you got decent value out of it. You could have gotten more, but to me, it's like you get a first round pick, but then you also get borderline another one with getting a player who is young and as great as Jared Verse. And I do think Verse is the kind of guy that I kind of do see being long term for them, because I look at it this way, where it's like they were not winning with him. Right. They have not won at all with him. Right. And in a way, they look at it like we already kind of wasted time. We wasted time not biting on this when we should have last year. So just do it now, because the reality is this is like basically a new entirely team that they're building here. I think from 2024 draft to now, it's a very different team, right? This is a very different team that they're building. And I think with that, trading Garrett now is a good idea to get the value you can for a guy like Verse and getting a first round pick. I think that's really good, because they're going to be one of those teams that's going to be fighting for the first overall pick next year. And if you can get a great quarterback out of that or something, like this is, I think they are building something younger that is good. Obviously, the Rams you are looking at as more of a winner because they're going to be a Super Bowl like level team. But I think in terms of
next
where the
5
Browns,
years.
Yeah, for sure. But I think these teams are in 2 different periods of their lives. The Rams are in a part in a point where it makes sense for them to trade for a guy like Garrett because they are in win now, whereas the Browns are building something now, right? So obviously, getting rid of Garrett, a guy who just didn't fit the timetable for what they were building, makes complete sense. I agree; it should have happened earlier, but at this point, do what you can now. And I think for what they got, I think it's relatively solid, right? I think the Rams obviously won the trade, but I feel pretty fine for what the Browns got. Like you get first, you get a first round pick, you've got some value here, you've got capital. Obviously, it would have been incredible to get three, but like I'd feel pretty fine if I got Verse in a first round pick. Like I think that's legit enough. I think building around Verse, Mylan Graham, a few of these other guys, it's young, it's new, right? Like I like that philosophy of building here because you're saying, you know what? If we knew that we were going to trade Garrett and we were never going to get a player on the level of Garrett, we're not going to waste our time trying to just draft a guy. We're going to take a guy we know is good now and trade for a guy like Verse, which I like mentality wise. I think that's good philosophy for trying to replace him as best as you can because you're never going to replace him. You disagree?
I don't even think Jared Verse and Myles Garrett are in like the same universe of caliber of player.
Well, duh. Myles Garrett's like the best player in the league, but like that's the thing. You were never ever going to match that value because
So
Myles.
the second part of what I was going to say is if you're going to get a player like Jared Verse, and that's like the highlight of what you're getting for on field currently, you better get the draft compensation, go with it. When I also don't think that they did. I think they really could have lobbied for more picks here.
I
I
just,
think that
but
they settled.
But we don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. Like as far as
I
we
do
understand,
know that Eagles were going to offer AJ Brown as the player that they were lobbying alongside the picks.
but what? Like that's the thing here. What do the Browns need more right now? Receiver or edge? Edge if they're going to move off of Garrett. Edge if they're going to move off of Garrett.
I
If
just they're gonna
I'm
move up Garrett, sure, but like they have so many holes that like who cares? Like you take the best
They don't,
trade
but they don't really
you
have
can.
but they don't really have that many holes. Their holes are more so on the
You just
defense
said
than
they're
it
going
is.
to be competing for the first overall pick, so obviously they have more holes than
They
just
have holes,
edge.
but their holes are worse on their defense than it is on their offense. Don't get me wrong. If they got Brown, that'd be great. But you're like overlapping talent in terms of having Jerry Judy, already Boston, and you invested two
This is a
major picks.
trade that costs people their jobs. Andrew Berry will be on the unemployment line very soon here.
Sure, but like what like my whole thing with this is like if they've already done the sin of waiting too long, what else were they going to get out of the value of this? Like being able to replace that elite edge rusher with a young superstar edge rusher is at least something instead of having to be like, well, we got a first round pick, maybe we'll get an edge rusher in the draft. You at least get somebody you know is good now and you can hope to potentially extend in the future, right? I agree that if in the future they don't extend him, it's a bust, but that's a lot of projection and assuming about the future,
But
right? Like
it's knowing Cleveland's history, right? Like all they've done is continue to do what they are, right? So as a fan, if you're looking at this as a Cleveland Brown fan, why would I have hope today about anything going correct? Why would I assume that these draft picks that they're going to get next year are both going to land? Like what?
because their history has never landed in a way where they've had to trade away the best player on the planet and immediately replace him. I get it, but the history changes when you're having a conversation like this. They've not been in a situation like this before where they've had to trade
No
away
team has been in a situation like this
which is my
before because
point.
this
Which is my
doesn't
point. You
happen.
can't
This
you
is
can't
what
hold
bad
what
teams do. Like this is a bad team
okay, let me ask you
historically
something. Would
doing
a
a
good
bad
team
team
keep
move.
Garrett? Would a good team keep Garrett?
A good team would have gotten rid of Garrett when his contract was about to end, what,
Sure,
2 years
sure,
ago?
but we're past that. Like I get it. I agree with
Right.
you.
We're
But
past
by
that.
that point,
So they've already failed in all respects. They thought they were going to be good last year.
but I just think that's too much of a black and white way to look at this because at the end of the day, if we're just going to judge a team by the window they missed and not what they do to fix the window, then at that point we're not really having a conversation anymore, right? Like if they've missed that window, we've already critiqued them for that and we've shit on them for that, and I agree they should have done it when they had the chance. But if by that point, if you can still get value out of trading him, that's a good thing. If you can get a edge rusher who can be a young piece for you, if they traded him and they didn't, and they got like one first round pick and that was it, I would agree with you. I'd be like, you flopped on
You'd
this.
find a way to not agree with me, but continue with your point.
No, the point is there. First is a good player, a good young player. Again, I'm not telling you that I think the trade's even or that they handled this amazing, right? Of course they didn't handle this really well. But at the end of the day, I'm not like, wow, this is the worst trade ever. Oh my God, what are they doing?
Like,
Like, it's like, I get it. You get younger. You're trying to build around a window that works for you. I think it makes complete sense.
I think that the Browns are ultimately losers from this deal from the idea of, hey, you're our franchise guy and you're on the table. Like, I think even starting there makes them losers in this deal. For Myles Garrett to
I
know that
mean,
this was a possibility, hopefully he knew. I mean, I know he hasn't been around, so hopefully that's because he knew this was coming rather than them being like, hey, no time like the present. Let's just get on with it. Let's rip this Band-Aid off now. Because I think that'd be very disrespectful to what he's meant to that city and that team. But also, I mean, I saw a thing on Twitter and it was comparing Nick Herbig to Jared Verse. And, Nick Herbig was a rotational edge rusher, and they ended up with practically the same stats. Obviously, it's
was Nick
more.
Herbig top 10 in QB pressures?
I was going to finish my point by saying, obviously, this
Yeah.
is more satirical, but ultimately, the flat numbers. I mean, if Jared Verse ends up averaging out 7.5 sacks a year for the rest of his time, regardless of the pressures, because I'm not even going to get into that with you because this is going to be another thing that you're just trying to ramp me up for. And I always fall for it. So I'm going to bring myself back down for a second while I make this point, which
Okay.
is just like, if that ultimately, like, the numbers are the numbers, right? I understand that there's like box watching and then that's not the whole story. I understand all of that, right? But 3 wins is 3 wins, the same way 7 sacks is 7 sacks. Even if the 3 wins happened and 10 of your losses were in overtime, right? Like, ultimately, like, the end result is the end result. So if Jared Verse ends up doing what he did last year and getting 7.5 sacks the rest of his tenure, for the rest of his time with Cleveland, like, that is a massive, massive loss. That is a
Here's
massive
here's
fall off.
Here's where I'm going to push back against that. The problem with this is that why are we looking at sacks as the end all be all to the efficiency and succeeding that we want to see from an edge rusher?
We can look
I
at tackles too if you want. I mean, we can look at
I
everything it
value
means to
pressures
be
way
an
more
edge.
than I value tackles for an edge, unless you mean like the position tackle. Do you mean
No,
like
no,
tackles?
I meant more so just like holding the edge. Like, that's literally what I meant. Like, the tackles off the edge, the sacks off the edge. I'm saying the hard numbers. Obviously, there's pressures in there. Obviously, there's stunts. Like, I understand all of that. Like, I know there's a nuance to numbers. I'm not like
The
saying
thing
this is
is,
an end all be all. It's more so just like the fact that it's even comparable
here's the
is
thing,
very
though. At
concerning.
the end of the day, no matter what, when it comes to a player like Myles Garrett, there's no world where you're going to be able to get the exact value you wish. Even 3 first-round picks, I'm still like, eh. Like, what if you screw those up? What if you screw up those picks?
That's what
If
I'm
you screw
saying.
up
They're
2
the
of them,
Cleveland Browns. That's why I'm like, I'm not even
but
confident
that's
they're
but
going to
that's
nail
my
the
thing. But that's
picks.
my thing. I get it, right? Bad team, bad, ha ha ha. But at the end of the day, you have to at least applaud the process, right? Like, I get it. Bad teams are bad. What if they screw up the pick? But that's all what ifs. What if they get it right?
Right.
Right?
Would
Like
we
the
have had
past
this
two, the
discussion about the
past.
Deshaun Watson contract when it occurred? That's a genuine question to you, too, because I think everyone knew that that was going to be a mistake. It ends up being a
Sure, but how's
mistake.
that comparable here?
I'm just saying that, like, you're like, bad team, bad, ha ha. Like, it's like, no, this is another thing that Cleveland has done that everyone else is like, I would never do that in a million years. And it's like, there's no need to see this
I
play
do
out.
not
Like,
agree
this
that
is
no other team would have
already
just done what they did. I think a lot of teams, like,
a
you
lot of other
have to.
teams would have done it 3 years ago, Jack. A lot of other teams would have done it in that time frame, or they would just ride this out because that's where you end up.
Here's the thing, though. I get it. You can critique Cleveland for not doing it when they should have, but the reality is they didn't, right? So what? Are,
So
what,
you
what are,
don't do it at all. That's what I'm saying.
I don't agree with that at all. No, I don't agree with that at all.
Okay, so let's get a pick 32 out of this. That's ingenious. Like, because that they've really
You
done well
you
with their
get
draft
and
picks
you
historically too.
along with that, what else do you get? You get an edge rusher who's young and new and is top 10 in pressures. Like, that's the thing. You get younger, you add pieces, right? Like, I get it. But these are two teams in such different areas of their building. Like the Rams are a team that makes sense for a Garrett to be there. The reality is, with Garrett, they haven't won shit. They haven't won anything at all. They have not won anything. They sucked terribly last year. So what do you say? Listen, he's a great player. Is there any value we can get for trading him? Because we know that we'll still be bad with him. Not to take anything away from the player. He's obviously, in my opinion, the best player in the entire league. But at that point, you have to wonder what value you can get. Obviously, they screwed up not doing this a year ago. I completely agree with that. Completely agree with that. But by that point, we're past that point. What else can you do? Keeping on to him, I think, is useless because you'll be the same weak team, having the same weak conversations. At the very least, you can get some value out of it and some capital. That at the
Are
very
you
least, you could
implying
get
that, like,
you can
not
get
having Myles
younger.
Garrett in the room isn't going to help with like free agency signings or like any sort of
How
outlook?
how has it helped? How has it helped them at all in the 2020s?
Are you saying people haven't signed there or wanted to go there because of? Like someone like him.
And how has that how helped with their roster building at all?
But
Not
you're
really.
making my entire point that it doesn't matter what they do. Like it doesn't matter at
No,
this
that's
point.
what I'm saying. Though
Too little, too late.
them keeping a guy who doesn't fit their timeline, right? Who they know they can get valuable capital out of for the sake of, well, what if people want to sign here? I just think is nothing. Like I get it, but we've seen that tested out because they won nothing last year. They were
You let
terrible
a
last year.
GM who's going to get fired make this decision, and I think that's the biggest malpractice
Sure,
sin of
sure,
all.
sure. But at the end of the day, you have to get any kind of capital you can. If they kept Garrett, this would change almost nothing. These are teams in completely different windows. Completely, because people are like, well, the Rams won this. Yeah, because they're like a Super Bowl favorite already, right?
The rich got
Duh.
richer.
Yeah, it's like the Jets trading Quinn and Williams. It's like, wow, the Cowboys got really good value out of this. Yeah, because they're already like a perennial playoff team, right? Yeah, duh. And the Jets are bad, right? Like, yeah, at that point, you have to ask yourself, what value can you get out of these players that are really good on your terrible team to either get younger or get more capital? And then in that situation, you can do the best you can. Again, I'm not some like huge fan of what the Browns did. I don't think they're like incredible or building something amazing, but I think it makes complete sense why they did this and why now, right? They already screwed up. You might as well get some kind of capital while you can, while he ages. You don't know the future, right? At this point, get what you can. I would rather get capital now than 2 more years of nothing burgers with him being defensive player of the year to ultimately one of these years as he gets into his 30s, he eventually starts to slow down. And now there isn't really interesting capital you can get out of this. I would rather just trade him now, get capital, and start to build something. Again, this is no negative on Garrett. It's just about how you build your team. We're talking about two different completely windows of what they're approaching and what their goals are,
You
right?
just said like build something in Cleveland in the same sentence. So it's just that's where you lost me.
Dude, I get it for jokes, but like, what are they gonna do?
This
Not build
this
a
isn't a joke to me though. Like this is genuinely like this is history repeating itself in a lot of ways. Like
But
of
in what way
course
is
the
this
Browns
history
found
repeating
themselves in this
itself? In what
position
way is this history
because the
repeating itself?
Browns found themselves in this absurd position.
But this
Again,
isn't that absurd of a position, though. This really isn't. I would agree with you if they only got like a first round pick, but getting versus value. That is value. Like, I get it. I wish they got more, but this isn't some like disaster class. Like, it really just
I
isn't.
mean the trade
It's the
even
equivalent of two
occurring.
first round picks
I'm
versus three.
referencing that.
It's the equivalent of getting two first round picks versus three. Like, it really, it's like, yeah, it would have been better, but like, it's fine. Yeah, critique him for it. He should have done it earlier, but it's not some disaster class. What are you gonna do? Keep him and just continue winning nothing? At least at least have an idea of what your window is, right? Like if the Jets just continued to have like Quinn and Williams and Sauce Gardner and they just kept sucking and sucking and sucking, and it's like, well, why don't they just trade these guys and get some capital? Oh, but they're really good players, and like they should have done it earlier. It's like, well, at that point, just get any value you can, right? Like I think it's the same formula. Obviously, they waited too long, but at that point, I don't think keeping him gives you some better value for what your team is. I just don't. I really don't. Like I think at that point, get what you can, right? Like I think it's similar to like the Jalen Ramsey trade, where it's like it's a similar for the Jaguars.
No, right. I understand. And that's fine. I'm more so like, I'm just getting hung up on this idea that like you're comparing like the Jets and the Browns situation. We were talking about the Browns as like dark horses, like for maybe 2 years ago. Like this was a very realistic thing. Like it's like
I don't know if I
pieces
was
are
ever
kind
saying
of
that.
falling together. This defense is unreal. All they need is a competent quarterback and everything will work out. Does that sound familiar? And it's just never worked out for them. Like they
Well,
constantly
because they've never actually like dived into genuine like the only approach they made for quarterback was Deshaun Watson, right? Like outside of that, it's been Shadur in the sixth
right,
or
but
fifth.
like let's not say they haven't tried at the quarterback position. Like, because if any team has tried, it's been Cleveland. They've drafted like 5 quarterbacks in the last 2 years.
Okay, but you have to understand the like birth and death of people's like roster building. We're talking about like so many regimes ago. Like we're talking we're talking with like that doesn't even connect with what their regime is now. Like I get it, man. I get it, but that's like me being like, well, I don't know if the Giants will be good this year because like do you remember how they've been bad, these other years? It's like sure, but like you at least have to look at what their process is and what they're trying to change or what they're trying to do. At the very least, the reality is they have some young defensive pieces. Will that ultimately be anything great? Will it be as good as Garrett? Probably not, right? But at the very least, they have Miles Graham, right? Right? Or Miles Graham, right? Oh my God, am I blanking?
Like
Miles.
Miles Ram, is that his new
No,
nickname now?
There's a Milan Graham, which is why I was thinking. But they've got
Mason
him.
Graham.
Mason Graham. Thank you.
I thought
Mason
you were saying
Graham.
Graham, so that's why I was like,
No, I was
what
thinking
you're
of I was
talking
thinking of I
about.
was thinking of the
Yeah,
receiver
no, I
Mylan
know you're talking
Graham,
about
which is
now.
why
Yes,
they have
yes.
Mason Graham. They have Verse. Like that's at least something, right? Like I do think it's at least the best you can do here. Like I really do. Like I just
Yeah,
like the
sure.
Browns won 5 games with Garrett. I just at a point you got to accept the kind of capital you can get, right?
But you
Like
also are saying that they're going to be like competing for like a first overall pick. And
because
while
the
I think
quarterback sucks.
while the morale will be low enough for that to occur, I don't think that they necessarily have the roster where it needs to be the worst of the worst here. Like they're
I'm not saying that,
still
but I think their quarterbacks
bottom
are bad. But I think their
eight.
quarterbacks are terrible. I think the Raiders weren't that truly terrible, but I
I
think their
just
quarter
think that they're more bottom eight than they are bottom two, bottom one.
and we're going into a deep quarterback class where that might not end up being that big of a problem.
So they're going to go for quarterback number 6. This guy's going to change everything. So
No, like quarterback 3. Like if they want to trade up with capital, if they want to do
no,
anything.
no, no. I meant more so from their rebuild perspective with Barry's thought process. Like this is going to be quarterback 6, quarterback 7, so on.
It's probably gonna be more like quarterback 3, which is not a problem. Like if they go sellers next year, you're like, sweet.
They
Like
drafted 2 quarterbacks last year alone, Jack. They
yeah,
drafted one again this year. Like that's
me
3 right there. Deshaun
Doug,
Watson,
we're talking
4.
about
Like
Doug, we're talking about like 5th round picks. We're talking about like backups. We're talking about backups versus like a potential franchise guy. We're talking
and
about
mind you, Stefanski
dude.
and Barry
We're talking about
love Dylan
We're talking about
Gabriel.
Taylon Green, Shadur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel. We are not talking about serious prospects at all.
But you're
Like
also talking about the contract of Deshaun Watson. You're
which
also talking about like the thought process of trading Baker when they did. Like that is all still the
they
same
should have.
regime.
I stand by. They should have traded Baker when they did.
Sure. And that's fine. How'd that work out?
I mean, like, I'm not going to give
Egg
you.
on their face. That's how it worked out.
I has it really? Has it really
Yes,
though?
yes.
Has it really?
Okay.
What you
Now
think
I see.
Baker was?
Okay.
Wait. You think Baker was going to continue to succeed like he is in Tampa, like he was in Cleveland? You think that's the same infrastructure in any kind of way? Tampa butters his feet, man. Like they make everything nice and great for him. And he, have you seen like? I don't want to make this too much of a Baker Mayfield discussion, but I think he's one of the biggest frauds in the NFL.
I'm not gonna talk about Baker Mayfield. That wasn't the point of what I was trying to make.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Calming myself down. I'm letting myself be calm.
All right, go
And
ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
it was just the principle of it. What Baker had done for the city, let me finish.
Go ahead.
What Baker had done for the city, alongside what they were building and who they were building around. They were not necessarily a perennial playoff team, but they were certainly in the discussion in a very, very tough division, always holding their own. They trade him. They signed this absurd contract that pretty much changed the thought process of the owners in the next, players union discussion, and isolated them actually amongst the owners too, because it was a fully guaranteed absurd contract. And they've just gone downhill from there. And I don't think there's any debate saying otherwise. That's all.
All I'm gonna say is that I think Baker is way more of a not versatile, volatile quarterback than people give him credit for. Than
Freudian
people,
slip, by the way.
yeah, Freudian. So the reality is that is a hot and cold quarterback that there is a good chance Tampa moves on from because they see the flaws in him that everyone else does because they're real. Have you seen some of these Mecca Buka highlights? And every time I'm asking myself, who is throwing that? Who is the ball's over here? Who is throwing this? Like, and Baker was a big reason that they fell off a cliff last year in the second half of the season. He played really, really, really bad. And there were some periods with Cleveland he played really, really, really bad. So I think Baker is a quarterback that's a lot more handholdy than some like, man, you let him go. It's like, yeah. He's like a Darnold. He's like a Darnold-esque. Like, yeah, and Darnold's better than him. Like,
So I said
Darnold is
Darnold wins the Super Bowl, as proven
because
last season.
Darnold's better than him, and Darnold's still like QB like 12 or 13 or 14.
Regardless, they're both Panthers legends. So
They are both Panthers legends. This is true. But like I really don't have a problem with this for the Browns. Like Garrett's 31, man. Like Garrett's 31. Like at this point, get what you can out of it. Like, I really do think it's completely fine. I agree. I wish they got more value out of it earlier, but like, I think keeping him would have been useless. Not in the sense to downplay the player, but to downplay the process. Like, it would have changed nothing for them.
I wish him well, and I apologize in advance to Jared Verse.
Yeah, poor Jared Verse. Like, I don't know. I'm fine with it for them. I do think it's fine. I think they got solid value out of it. That's where you and I differ. Is that I actually am completely fine with the value they got. I think it's pretty solid. I think it's pretty solid value. I think Verse in a first round pick is good. I think that's good. I think Verse will be immediately impactful.
As a future Giants Ring of Honor member once said, the Browns is the Browns.
If insert ghetto Gronk unfunny IG meme. I don't know. Like that's the thing. It's like yeah, maybe man, maybe, but like I don't know. I think they've done a decent job building a roster the past 2 years. I think their offense is genuinely pretty interesting. I actually like their offense quite a bit. Two good running backs. Uh, a line that needs more youth, but good receivers. I love their tight end. Like they've got pieces, man. I am not as negative on this as you are, but obviously for the Rams, it can't be more of a positive than it already is. But like you were never gonna match the value. It just wasn't gonna happen. You were never gonna match the value of a Myles Garrett. Just impossible. Just impossible. But we get to the last one, which is AJ Brown to the Patriots. I'll let you start off with this one because I'm curious.
With the way the last two have gone, I just got to make sure my blood pressure stays low, and I'm just keeping myself calm.
Yeah.
This isn't necessarily one that I'm positive or negative on. I think this is one where ultimately both teams are going to come out winners. The Eagles got insane value for a guy that's going to be 29 heading into the season, and is also coming off, you know, becoming a known locker room cancer as well. Like all the reports that are out there and everything, you can shove it up. Mm. Like these are just things. These are facts. These are out there. And it's just something to keep in mind considering the value that they got out of it, which is the point I'm trying to make, Jack,
Mm-hmm.
is that, when the Eagles made a trade for A.J. Brown 4 years ago, they traded a first round pick and a third round pick. They just got in return for trading him 4 years later a first round pick and a fifth round pick. That's unreal value. Once again, Howie Roseman proving he's one of the best GMs, if not the best GM in the NFL. And from the Patriots side, you finally got your wide receiver one, something they've been looking for a really long time, it seems like. And you created, a great, hopefully a great dynamic connection between May and A.J. Brown. Now, the one thing I want to see play out is that relationship on the locker room side, how he blends into that offense, and how he handles the adversity that does come once he's back in New England. I know he's back with Vrabel, who he started with. Vrabel never wanted to lose him in Tennessee, and that's all fine and dandy in concept. But, we'll see how it plays out. I noticed this last year, maybe Jack will be able to elaborate on the film side a bit more. The depth of target was so much lower this last year, and maybe that was just game plan. Maybe that's just where his game is now with, years of playing the game, right? I believe he averaged 12 yards of reception, while prior to that in his career, it was like 17, 18 yards. So it's definitely not something to not look into or notice. He also hasn't in 3 years started all 17 games, which I do think is a pattern to keep in mind when looking at something when you trade first round value for. Not necessarily calling him injury prone or anything, just, not being able to suit up here and there. It definitely can add up. Excuse me. So those are the main, factors of this trade. But I think ultimately both teams come out of this as winners today.
I agree with you. I do think that they're both winners. Um, I am. I mean, this one's not crazy. But the thing is, I do think the locker room cancer stuff. I don't really care because I think the Eagles is the only time this has ever been an issue. It wasn't an issue with the Titans. It wasn't an issue with the first couple of years with the Eagles. It only became really an issue the past 2 years. And honestly, like he's kind of valid for it. I mean, Hurts was really frustrating, really, really frustrating last year. I get why. Like I really do understand why. So when it comes to that, I understand it. In terms of Brown and his quality, he's like what 29. Like I
29.
do, yeah, I do think that he's getting older, and it's not an age thing. Honestly, it's an injury thing. I think the lower body injuries are starting to build up a little bit, and I do
Mm,
think towards the second half of the year, like his separation got a little less good. Like you did notice it. Like his yards after catch got worse, but I do think he's still a really, really legit receiver. But I do think the injuries are piling up. I mean, I think he had to get his knee drained twice, if I'm not wrong.
correct.
Yeah. Like, I do think for him, he's going to be really good for Drake May. Really good. I think this will be a good, like, rebirth for him. I don't know what level is the question. I think he'll probably be really good. I could see him maybe being on the level of like a Mike Evans a year ago, something kind of like
Mm,
that,
okay.
right?
Okay.
I think being a top 10 receiver is possible again, but I think that's fading a
Okay.
little bit just because of the lower body injuries. But I do think also you have to keep in mind that like that Eagles offense was a disaster. They could not throw over the middle of the field. But Brown also was just getting a little bit more tight in the hips. There was a bit of route running concerns there, but nothing monumental. So I do lean on the side of like I think he'll be really good. I think he'll be a really huge piece for them that's going to be unbelievably important. I am keeping an eye on what age and injuries are going to look like because it wouldn't shock me if that became a bit more of a problem this year than typically you would expect. I don't think locker room cancer stuff's really going to matter at all. I think him and May are going to get along really well. I really do think it just was about like Hurts and the offense and Sirianni. Like, I just think the Eagles have a bad locker room, like top to bottom. I just think Sirianni to Hurts in the offense. There's just a lot of concerns there that I think are bigger than AJ Brown. I think in terms of his connection there and culture, I think he's gonna love it. I think he loves Vrabel. I think he loves what's going on there. I think that's gonna be fine. It really just is about okay. Are you good on these injuries? Are these gonna really start to nag you a little bit? So that's where my eye is gonna be attached to. Just because I do wonder to what level that might affect him. He's probably gonna get more X receiver snaps than Kayshon Boutte was getting. I'm very curious about to see the way they're gonna deploy him. If I had to imagine, probably all over the place. Um, but in terms of what this will look like, it's a little bit of like, let me see, but I am optimistic. That's where I come from. It's like, let me see, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I definitely think that at the very least, like you can pencil him in for 1,000 yards and 6 to 8 touchdowns, and that's just the floor to me. I know last year was his worst year yards wise, I believe. I think he ended up just above 1,000, but I think consistently he's gotten like 7 to 10 touchdowns when he was in Philadelphia, when he became a true wide receiver one.
Yeah.
And so I definitely think they're getting him at a great time for that. Like as long as his mental's right, and as long as, like you said, the lower body holds up, I think like in the short term that this is going to be great value for them. But we'll
Yeah.
see about how it looks
They,
postseason. Maybe we feel differently. Maybe he doesn't blend in. I mean, there's only time will tell. Maybe he only plays in like 5 games. You know,
they can be the Walmart version of Brady and Randy Moss. They can be Walmart. They can. We're talking Walmart. We're talking
maybe
Walmart.
like maybe like DH gate version.
maybe
Like
maybe like big
I don't know if I
maybe
would even
like
say
Big Y.
Walmart.
Maybe like the Big Y version.
Yeah,
Big Y.
Kmart, something like that, some defunct Marshalls version, something along those
Yeah, they could be the
lines. I don't
Marshalls
even know if I'd
version
go
of
as
it.
high as Walmart.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I think they can be pretty legit with each other. Like I said, my
Mm,
my my fear is that the low end of this could be like an Allen Robinson to the Rams situation, where he's
mm,
legit with the Bears, but you start to see the lower level or the lower body injuries build up, and then when he gets over there, it's just the age and injuries clash at once and it becomes a problem. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because I think it's very easy to overlook injuries and age and then be very blindsided by this when you're like, what happened to this guy? He was so good, right? Like Tyreek Hill is one of those guys that's about to hit like a truck, right? Like was unbelievably elite when he went to Miami, but then what happened last year? You started to see a little bit of the dips. The age was starting to hit, and then a huge injury, and now it's like I don't know if he'll even play again. right? So it's like they can
Yeah.
hit like these drop offs can hit you like a truck. So it's good to be able to keep an eye open of like what it could be because there's a world that could happen, right? And I don't think it would really come down to necessarily like his ability to be a really good receiver. It's just age and injuries, and that might just end up being the case. Like I could see an Allen Robinson to the Rams esque thing, which is why I want to keep my eye open for it. But I am optimistic, though. I am optimistic. I think the worst case floor of it can still be really, really good. And I think they're going to make a true commitment to making him the main focal point of the offense, right? So, yeah, I'm definitely very curious. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, definitely. And I fall into that same category as well. I think the other interesting point about this is it's not 27 first round pick, it's a 28 first round pick.
Right.
So, regardless of the production this year, and what it leads to for the Patriots, it's more so about that long term look. Like, does he help them in that 28 season to where they're good enough that that pick doesn't feel as massive of a loss? So it really does matter in the long term. Like, they're really gambling on this guy in a lot of ways. And again, in another way, it makes Harry Roseman look like a freaking genius. So it's kind of frustrating from that angle,
I,
because
yeah. Well, I honestly think I don't know if I have any like strong take on the value you got. I think it was just like solid value. Like I think it makes sense. You know what I mean? I think he hit trading Brown right before injuries and age could end up being a big factor. So that's good.
right,
But yeah, I think generally I'm pretty positive about this. You know what I mean? I think all of these trades, I feel like most teams got the best out of it. Like, you know what I mean? I feel that way about the Browns and the Rams. I feel that way about the Patriots and Eagles. Yeah, I think it's good value for what you got, and that's why they drafted Mekhi Lemon because they knew that was going to happen. And I think Smith is more than capable of being a one. Not worried about that at all. That's not really any kind of concern for me. Um, you've seen Smith try to be a one, and I think it's absolutely possible.
oh yeah, like
Yeah,
definitely. I
yeah.
think
So,
their roster was in a good enough spot that they could make this move, and like the fact they got a first round pick out of it's like the most impressive part of it.
oh yeah, like, and they've been planning around Brown being gone the entire offseason. You know what I mean? So it's like this is not new. So I think they're
Right.
completely fine. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else more on this.
I mean, we kind of hit it. I think we both see this as a win-win.
I think we do. Yeah, honestly, a really interesting day. As we go on, I think we're gonna have some off-season videos where we talk about like, are you buying or selling these guys off seasons? Overall, what have they done? And I think these were
Mhm.
the AJ Brown trade was obviously the big one that we talked about when we talked about the Patriots receiver room a while back. We kind of assumed he would be there, right? So it'll be interesting to talk about this going forward and seeing kind of where our frame of reference is for a lot of these teams and what they're achieving. So, yeah, very interesting. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. We appreciate it if you've made it all the way through. Make sure to hit the like button, of course. And yeah, we'll be seeing you guys next time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
So,